Today I'm going to be talking to my buddy Kirpal at West London Classics. Him and his son basically founded that back in COVID time actually, and they have grown it in such a short space of time, the Facebook page, the Instagram, but most importantly, the actual live events to fantastic levels, to these incredible shows. They put on a major show once a year and then lots of little shows as well. Plus they get involved in other stuff like Petrolheadonism's event at Wembley. And they're also going to be, well, next month they're going to be at the NEC Centre. They'll have a stand there as well. So I just thought it'd be a great opportunity to catch up with the guy behind this. Also, he happens to be a serial Capri owner, and he's got a Tickford one at the moment. And it'd be great to chat to him about cars and about car events, the car community, and where he thinks things are going next. And also, maybe I'll ask him, what does he think of the new Capri?
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Hello, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad, not too bad, Shazad. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How's everything going? God, you
Oh,
guys have been so busy this year. It's been unbelievable. West London Classics absolutely been rocking 2024.
it has been very busy, and as I said, now we're sort of coming to the end of it now. And but for people, it seems like the end of it. For us, it doesn't stop because
Yeah,
once finishes, then we've got the other events to continue. Like you know yourself, next month we're at the NEC,
yeah.
so we're there on obviously the 8th, 9th, and 10th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we got to get there on a Thursday to set up our cars, our stand. So obviously, then it opens to the public on a Friday. So it's so much to be honest, Shazad. And obviously
You
then we've
know,
got our show next year and the build up to that, and you know,
and this is the thing, because if you say to somebody like, this is your show next year in the summer," and you're like, "Well, it's not even 2025 yet," but it's. As you know, I was once doing events back in Dubai, and because we've had this conversation, not with yourself, not with the dog, but with yourself, I've had this conversation. Sounds like he wants to get involved,
I'm
but
sorry,
anyway,
he does, yeah, he
but
wants to get involved in every conversation.
he does. He sounds like it. He's very very keen, but. So as I told you, we used to do these in Dubai, and eventually it was a victim of its own success because the events got so big that
Yeah.
we had to give up because it was like taking up so much time. And I
Yes.
think this is what people don't realize is that they just turn up and they have a day and they enjoy the event, but to tell people a little bit about what it takes to conceive of an event from conceiving it to actually executing it.
Right. It takes time, dedication, teamwork, and obviously the passion. And we have all that. And as I said, we started. I mean, I've been doing cars, in the classic cars for 30 years now. But it's 2020 when we had, just for lockdown, we had, my son goes, Dad, let's do a little meet, then running meet. And it's quite a regular meet that we do there, like, but not we, but Petrolheads. They do one there every last Sunday of the month. And we done one there in 2020, and we had about 300 cars. I think you were there. He was there, yes. And we had about 300 cars. It was a hot day. And then from there, my son just suggested that I think we should start doing venues, and it's all about getting the community involved. And it's certainly done that. I mean, I've seen people in shows now, my school friends who I haven't seen for over 40 years.
Yeah,
Can you believe it? And the
yeah,
last show that we done where you were at for the charity event for the Shooting Stars a few weeks
yeah.
ago, I saw my schoolmates there who I haven't seen
No
for 40
way.
years. So it just goes
Wow.
to show it brings everyone together. Do
Yeah.
you know, do you know, do you know, do you know what I mean? And
But
and
take but take me back to this because absolutely we're going to touch a bit more on how cars bring people together, and I think it's
yeah,
such an important part of the world that we live in, and
absolutely.
and we'll go into also the mental health aspects of it. But just touching on the fact that, as you just mentioned there, you decided to start West London Classics,
Yeah.
which is basically about getting people in their cars physically together. But you
Yep.
decided to start this during COVID,
During COVID.
when we were all stuck at home. So, I mean, what possessed you and your son as well, because you were both working on this together. What possessed you guys to do? Oh, let's
I
do
mean,
this.
in the COVID time, my wife was obviously off work 6 months, but I was still working. But there was so much time that we had as well to do things, and my son said, "Look, let's do something."
So
Dad.
how comes you were still working?
I was still working because obviously I was doing deliveries, but obviously when I was doing deliveries, I was doing not the door, not to the customers, just see the face, take a picture, I'm out.
Right,
So I
right,
wasn't in contact with face to face. So and I was out. So
right.
I wasn't in like in a room or office.
Yeah.
So I
So
was
you kind of like you were one of the key workers then at the
I
time, I
was
suppose.
yes. I
Yeah.
worked all the way through the
Yeah.
COVID. So
Yeah.
and touch wood, I never got it. Even though I had the
Wow.
boosters. So yeah, I never got it. So never had
Oh wow,
COVID.
you were lucky. I got
I
it
was.
twice.
I was absolutely.
I got it twice. The first time was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people have been.
It's the most sick I've ever been in my life. It
Yeah,
was
I
terrible.
remember
Yeah.
when you were. I remember when you did have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then from
Yeah.
there, basically, as I said, I just started the car group, and we started, like I said, 2020. Now we just under 9,000.
No, I mean, like, going back to that concept, it's like, what, I mean, what possessed you? I mean, you were sitting at home thinking, I mean, did you kind of anticipate that COVID will blow over, the lockdowns will eventually end, and then what will people want to do? Did you kind of
No,
anticipate, you know?
not at all. It was just basically just to get our local friends involved, and then from there it just grew, and like everyone started knowing about it. Then obviously I built a Facebook page on it, and my son took over the Instagram page, and he's doing really well in his followers. I'm doing well in my followers, and I said everyone knows everyone. And then from there, as I said, I had no intention of taking it to the level that it is now, not at all. Because obviously I've got my own commitments. I've got my own grandkids, and my son's got his kids, and it takes a lot of time and effort, you know. And but as I said, it's worth it at the end. It's
Well, it's
as I
such an
said,
important part of the community, isn't it? I mean,
100%.
one of the things that, as you've just touched on already, is the fact that the ability to get together, the ability to basically network and to meet, and the community aspects of it. I mean, again, when you started it, did you think that that was going to be an important part of it, or did that just come about?
That just coming back, to be honest, as I said, it was just purely just to get a few friends together, get a few local people around the area involved. But then, as I said, once you on socials, everyone starts hearing about it and finding out about it. And then there's friends ringing me up or texting me, "Oh, Jazz, you started this Facebook page called West Side Classics. Excellent." And then it was like word of mouth, to be honest, Azar. Then from there, it just went boom. And then we've done a few shows, like we've done a few meets at Cardio Security, our sponsor, who's been there with us from our start of our journey, and he's still with us today. And it's from there, it just grew up with a Sting Roadshow, joined us, and like we all friends, we all know each other. So without these guys, it wouldn't be possible for me to do West London Classics. It's all these sponsors who are helping us. Because, as I said, now we're on a scale where, like you've seen yourself, we've got 7,000 people, we've got over 1,000 cars. And then the aspects of having security, your liability insurance, and it's just the whole procedure. It's a book. You got to tick all the boxes. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not easy to say, oh yeah, let's go hire a place and have a car there, job done. It doesn't work like that.
No, there's a lot more to it that people don't, like you said, the security and stuff like that,
Oh,
the insurance
100%.
and the risk involved.
Of
Whenever
course
you
it
have
is.
cars in a place where you
Yeah.
have cars and people and families and animals together, pets and what have you, then suddenly the danger sort of exponentially increases, doesn't it?
And all our events are family friendly. So
Yeah,
we got all like kids there. We got kids entertainment,
yeah.
and touch wood that we've never had no incidents so far. So just goes to show you've got to be on top of the ball. All it takes is that one incident to ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's having everything organised, and as I said, we've got volunteers who help us, and they've been absolutely amazing. As I
How did you
said,
get the Facebook page to grow so quickly? Because you've done so well with that. That's absolutely incredible. The group. If anybody isn't on it, go check it out. West London Classics on Facebook. Go check it out. It's absolutely brilliant.
thank you. But as I said, it was just a name that I grew up with West London, and I've always had Capris back in the day,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people back in the day who had escorts, Mexicos. We all grew in that era, you
Yeah.
know. And now, as we get older, I'm 50, gonna be 58 now. But it
Yeah.
takes you back in your school days, your youth days. Do you know what I mean? And like I've got a Capri Tickford
Well,
now.
I always say that whenever I get into the E30, because I used to own one in the 90s, it's like an elixir of youth, because suddenly you're that same age again. Suddenly I'm
100%.
back in my early 30s or whatever.
Absolutely agree.
It's like a time machine.
Of
It's
course,
incredible.
you go old, but then you go back to your youth days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And and just sharing the passion that I had with a lot of like-minded people, and enthusiasts, and I knew people who sort of restored cars and like cars. You see, the rag and bone man has come back in the day. I'll take it, get rid of it. But now old is gold. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I know people who actually built a car from from nothing,
Yeah.
and to where it is today. And I think, wow, absolutely amazing, and it's like it's crazy.
Going back to the club. I mean, I would say West London Classics. I mean, it's West London,
Yeah,
but it has a really unique identity. I mean, I've been to lots of events, I've been to lots of shows, I've seen lots of clubs, but there's two clubs I would say that really stand out for me, and I think one of them is the Afro Classics Register.
yes, yes,
Because there's such a unique personality to that whole
absolutely,
club,
100%.
and the way that they do it is just brilliant. And then the second one is West London Classics, because
Yeah,
again, there's that unique persona, that unique character, that unique charisma about it. I mean, if people haven't been to like your showcase event, I would say annual
yes,
showcase event, the Show and Shine event.
yeah,
I mean, it's like a mela.
it is.
It's like a festival of diverse car community. It's kind of, I mean, how was that intentional, or is that just sort of something that's come out of it?
No, not really. As I said, our first main show was at the Polish Association ground in Stoke Poges, and we've
Yeah.
done that in 2022. And like, obviously, we've got our sponsors involved, and we've got Rocky, who sponsored. Yeah, but John, we had the turnstile where we had the car revolving.
I think that was before I got
Yes,
involved.
and
Yeah.
we had a revolving stage. We had the stage with Sting in it. Then we had
Wow.
Asian Star Radio supporting us. It was all. It just, yeah, it just. I think it just everything just dropped into place. Like, hold on,
Yeah.
if we can do this, let's do it right, and let's do it
Yeah.
for the families to come out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I've been to a lot of shows, and no disrespect in any way. I'll get bored after a
Yeah.
certain while. I'll walk around. Okay, let's go. Hour done. But an hour shows, I'm not going to say because hour shows,
Yeah.
but people come there, they spend the whole day there
Yeah.
because it's family orientated,
Yeah.
and everyone gets involved. You've got the kids, you got the mum, the dads, and you got the food stalls,
Yeah.
you got the live band performing, you got Door Collective entertaining the crowd. Do you know what I mean? Then we got live performance. We had Spill Bangles there. We've had Black Magic, Paul Mirage. We've done loads of people. Steve Us Music Media with his team, and it's just all get together and make a great day.
Yeah, it's such a variety of stuff, isn't it? Because, like you
Yes.
say, I mean, a lot of these car events, you go there and it's just basically, it's generally men just staring underneath a bonnet.
Yeah.
That's generally that's what ends up as. Generally men congregating around some car, staring underneath the bonnet. That's kind of what happens. And so, for a lot of people, like you say, you can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes of that, and then you're like, well, what else is there to do?
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but at your event, like you said, there's bhangra going on, there's magicians, there's entertainment.
Yeah,
You can get a
100%.
you can get a kebab, you can get a biryani, you can get what the samosa man is there. So I mean, there's so much going on. But I think, is that something that came out of the sort of unique identity of London itself, because being West London Classics, or is it something that's particular to that community?
No, I think it's always been open to everyone, not just the West London, but then the surrounding areas. Do you know what I mean? And like a lot of people who are from West London have now moved out of West London. One myself. I live in Surrey now, but my roots and my roots are West London. Do you know what I mean? Then we've got people all over the place joining West London Classics because they can relate to how. I mean, there's people who live in Northolt, which is West London, but now moved to Bristol or Gloucester or Cornwall, but in our group. So it just keeps them involved. And do you know what I mean? And they travel all the way to our shows once a year. I mean, there's a guy, Deljeet Chima. He's from Canada. He came down with his family. I think last year. Was it last year or the year before? The last year we were in. Yeah, it was last year. Stoke Poges. He
Yeah,
travelled with his family from California just to come to our show. And
that's
he goes,
amazing.
absolutely amazing. He goes,
That's
a lot of shows in California, but I've never seen nothing like this on this level.
Well, this is it. This is it, and that's exactly my point. It's like, you don't see anything like that, and it's a full, like you say, it's a full day out. It's a
It
fun
is.
day out. There's food, there's music, there's cars. It's absolutely brilliant. But you moved it to Southall this year, didn't you? But now
Yeah,
it's
we
going
did.
back to Stoke Poges.
Yeah, we're going back to Stoke Poges now. Stoke Poges we've always started Stoke Poges, and we're very thankful for Austin allowing us to have our show there this year. It's just that because Stoke Poges were having some work done on their grounds,
Right.
so hence we couldn't do it this year. But they called us straight away after they saw us having an Osley. Are you guys
Yeah.
coming back to us? So we had a meeting. We're back there for next year.
So, talking about this movement of events, I mean, you must have heard of, obviously, you're familiar with the Bromley pageant. And
Yes,
the Bromley pageant, obviously, then they decided to miss out a year
that's right.
when the ULEZ was expanded. And they've now announced that the Bromley pageant is back, but
Yep.
it's not necessarily in Bromley anymore. It's actually much further out. Do you think that London and the London car community has really sort of suffered in the last couple of years and really fallen victims to things like the ULEZ expansion?
I think it is now. Yes, I mean you can see the difference in for example, for classic cars, the prices have gone right down, and it's not about. It's I think people's way of life, the way the world is going at the moment. You got to have your priorities right, and if it's in your means, then you don't mind. But if you go for different times, I can understand people's situation. But it's to us, it's just once a year we do a show, and it's fairly priced for a ticket for a family, and compared to some tickets, I know what they go for, and I think it's quite. But you get a good day out, and it just sometimes just getting yourself out and socialising with people, it's mental health.
You know, and this is before we get to that, because that's a very important point that you've just raised as well. But before we get to that, another important point is the economics of it. And you know, I had this last year as well because I've actually reduced a lot of the events I'm covering because again, you have to look at the economics of it, right?
Yes.
But I also had people telling me it's like last year and the year before I was going to all the events, including things like the Silverstone Historic Festival and what have you, you know. And then I remember somebody contacted, because I always go on press passes, because as
Yeah.
a journalist, I get press
Yeah.
passes. So I'll apply and I get accreditation. And so I don't actually have to pay, I just have to pay to get there.
Yeah.
But I remember I posted, I think it was about the Silverstone event, and then somebody contacted me, because I said, oh, guys, meet you down there, everybody come on, it's a great event. And I think somebody posted a comment or something, and they said, it'll cost me 70 quid. And I'm like, whoa, because in my mind I hadn't even realized that ticket
Exactly.
prices could be as much as that. And
Exactly.
I'm like, all of a sudden, then you think about it, and you think if that's one person, but if it's a family, and it's a
Yes.
day out, you
Yes.
drive there, you park there, you feed the family, you buy
It's
some merch,
it's expensive day out.
you spend 100, 200 quid,
Easy.
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 And for a lot of money in a cost of living crisis, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big dent in your savings,
Oh,
right?
100%, 100%. That's why we've never raised. I mean, even like Stowe Poachers, it's not the same price. Everything's gone up, but we have stuck the price to what we had put our price up. We don't think that's right. We're trying to help everyone just keep it as it, and it's all our price has always been the same since we started. And as I said, everything's gone up, but we've kept it the same. £20 per car, and I think you can have 4 people there. It works out £5 per person, which I think is very. And you get your car inside, so I think that's
Yeah,
very, very reasonable. I think I don't know. We just show that cheap. I'm just saying myself, and I
yeah.
think it's got to be affordable, and think okay, that won't put a dent in my wallet. But it's a good family day out. 4 of us go out, 5 each, £20. That's very reasonable, I would say.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, 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 and of course, and then you spend on kebabs and shababs and stuff like that,
absolutely.
and it's not actually that expensive either, is it?
No, all our food stores are quite reasonably priced. They're not
Mm,
extortionate. I mean, yeah, surprisingly, really, compared to other
mm,
events that I've seen,
yeah.
it's just extortionate.
So let's come back to the mental health aspect because this is also because when we, like you said, 3 weeks ago when we did that event in Hayes, the Hayes
Yes,
Cricket Club,
that's correct.
with the Thrills and Wheels, wasn't
Wheels and
it?
thrills, yeah.
And I must give a shout out to what's his name? Was it Daniel?
Danny, yeah,
Danny, yeah.
Danny,
I
yeah,
mean, what? 16 years old.
yeah.
I mean, hat tip to the guy. 16 years old, and he just organized his first car. He doesn't even have a driving license, and he's just organized his.
He approached me after one of our shows. He said, "I need a favour." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "We're trying to do something for a charity event, and can we have you guys on board to support us?" And we will do anything to support any club. Anything we could do, anything we can do in any way that's for a good cause. We're there. And I said, "No problem." I said, he goes, "We'll get as many cars as we can there." He goes, "We're going to get bikers there," which was a great day. I
Yeah,
think it was great for networking with people. We raised over £1,000 for charity. That was our target,
yeah.
and we done it, which is the most important thing. It's going to a
And you,
good.
and you managed to pick the one day where it wasn't raining in that week
Oh,
of rain.
we were blessed. We were blessed, Shazad. We were blessed because the day before that,
It
I
was
mean, it was
raining.
raining all week.
Yeah.
And I rang Danny. I said, "Danny," I said, "Are you sure the show's on tomorrow?" I said, "Because it was a cricket pitch." I said, "It's got to be waterlogged." And he goes, "Give me half hour." And this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And he called back 5 o'clock. He goes, "I've got the thumbs up from the groundsman." So I thought, listen, if anyone knows, he knows better than anyone
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
And to be fair, it wasn't too bad.
No, it was fine. Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
yeah, it wasn't too bad, you know. But
But
I think
that's
a lot
what that.
of
But the weather in the UK is always a little bit of an issue, isn't it? Anybody that organises
unpredictable.
events, you just
Yes,
never know, right?
no, you
Because
don't.
that can make and break the event, can't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
That's one thing that's out. Something's out of our control. You
yeah.
know, you put it in there, but
But going back to that the Hayes Cricket Club event, the Fields and Wheels one,
yeah,
I did have, like you just touched on earlier when you were talking about mental health, and I did have some conversations there with people that were saying exactly that, and they were
yeah,
saying that it really helps them to get out, to meet people, to talk cars, and just to meet each other, go for a drive and stuff like that. And a lot of people to me were quite sad about how difficult it is becoming to own and run and maintain and take cars, or classic cars, I should say, to car shows.
yeah.
Especially when for a lot of people it's their outlet. It's
Absolutely,
how they let off steam.
absolutely, absolutely. Totally agree with you. I mean, it's me personally when I jump in my car, transforms me. It just my way of thinking. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to explain to you, but unless someone been in that situation themselves. Just to go in your car and to take a little drive out and come back, and you feel like a different person. All the things that you got, like you go through your head, or as you said, it's good for your mental health.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that
And I think that as mental health issues are becoming increasingly common, as
yes,
more and more people have suffered because of the lockdowns and COVID and the cost of living crisis and being more isolated,
yeah,
it's funny because we're more connected than we've ever been, and yet we're more isolated than we've ever been, haven't we?
yes,
And
yes.
having events like yours is one way to sort of literally physically bring people together.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I said, I think now our next one we do about 2, 3 a year. Like we do Petrolheadonism. We were
Yeah.
invited there from Ciro last year. He invited us for a stand there. We won best
And
club
and
stand
this
there.
is and this is another important thing, isn't it? Is that because Ciro, of course, is a giant in the world of car events.
Absolutely,
He's a
he's a
superstar.
legend. He's
He's
a
an
legend.
absolute legend. But he's been there for you as well, hasn't he?
Oh,
He's not.
that's what I'm trying to say. It's you help each other, you support each other. It's not about I'm bigger than you. It's nothing like you should be there for each other. That's how I see it. And he's been there with me. I've been there for him. He asked me to come and support me. I'm coming to Wembley. We had, last year you were there. We
Yeah,
had a stand there, and in fact we had it actually locked down. And we had a thing there, and we won best club stand there.
yeah.
So to us from West London Classics in West London and winning the best club stand at the first time Chiros held an event in Wembley in our area, it was a proud moment.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, we were invited by DMO at Stanapod, and we won.
Right, right.
We won best club stand there. So 2 best club stands in a year was a great achievement for us.
That's extraordinary. It's
You know,
extraordinary.
and now we come back in here this year. We've done our usual annual one, and we've done the Petrolheadonism one. And one of our Nick here, he won the best classic car from our stand.
Yeah.
So it was all about working together, supporting each other, and yeah, he's a diamond guy out here.
It's an
Tell me how
important
to-
thing, isn't it? It's an important thing to work together and collaborate together and not consider like people as being competitive or
No,
rivals in any way. Because ultimately it's about bringing the car community together, isn't it? No matter who you
absolutely,
are, wherever you're from, or whatever car you drive, isn't it?
100%, 100%.
And talking about whatever car you drive, so let's move on to your extensive Capri history. Because how many Capris? It seems like every time I open a post, you bought another Capri. I'm like, huh?
I've had over 20 Capris
Oh my
altogether.
god!
And they've all been the Mark Threes. From a 2 litre S, my first car when I passed my driving test was a 2 litre S, all the 3 litre S, 2 product injections, 280s. Now I've got the white Tickford.
Yeah, the white Tickford I've seen, it's absolutely gorgeous.
That
And
is,
and
yeah.
and back in the day, that was a poster car.
That was,
Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah. Because
was.
I remember having a picture. I think I must have cut out a magazine. And I remember putting it on the wall because I was like, "Whoa, it looks the business."
I'm the sort of person who's I love my fun in the car, and if I see something different, I'll let it go and get that one.
Yeah,
And this is probably the longest one I've kept. It's been over a year now.
right, right.
So
Oh, and over a year is the longest you've kept the
it's the
car.
longest, yeah. It's the
But
longest.
but how often do you take it out then?
Oh, I mean, it had a few bits and pieces I needed sorting out on it because the guy who I bought it off had it since he was 5 months old. It
All
was, a,
right.
it was a lovely chap, and he ran his own construction company. He fell off a ladder and he done his hip in, and he found it hard to get in and out of the car. Hence, the only reason why he was selling it, because he said to himself, "I'll never sell it." But he goes, he was sitting there, and every time it was upsetting him seeing it parked there, and he couldn't get in it. So he contacted me privately. It wasn't advertised or nothing, and he said, would you be interested?" I said, "Of course I would." I snapped his hand straight away. Went to see the car. Had the car fully engine rebuilt, turbo
Yeah.
serviced by Turbo Technics, and the car was still running in. So I bought it from a year, and he goes, "It's about 200 miles to do with the car yet." So yeah, I haven't done 200 miles, but I've just eventually done it and gave it to my mechanic, who's serviced it now, and put all the new gearbox seals and done everything I need to do to it. I said, I don't want nothing leaking. It's doing it at the NEC. Last thing I need is something leaking from the bottom. And so anyway, it's done everything, and now the car drives absolutely superb, and you can open it up now because it's had a full service.
Yeah, yeah,
You
it's
know,
an
so
amazing car.
now it's
But
time to enjoy it.
what is it about Capris then? Why specifically Capris? Is it just childhood memories or?
Childhood memories, yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
childhood memories, and yeah, I think that's my first car I've owned. You know, even my wife had a Capri. Could you believe that?
right.
She's got a Capri.
A match made in car heaven.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is before we met each other. She goes, "Yeah," it takes me back in time, and a stag, which I've got as well, Trump
Yeah.
stag. So yeah, it takes you, and she loves a stag. So I've had loads of stags, as you know, and I'm gonna
Your,
want one
your
now.
your current stag was the one that was at Hayes Cricket Ground recently,
That's
was
it.
it?
That's the
Yeah,
one.
I saw it there. It's lovely.
That's
Yeah.
the one. That's the one I sold 6 years ago,
Yeah.
and I bought it back.
All right. Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, I bought it back. And now, but
Wow.
the guy who bought it off me, he's done a full 4-speed gearbox engine change on it, and which is the ultimate driving machine because those gearboxes only come in a 3-speed automatic, but
What did
4-speed goes.
what did you think of the last Grand Tour where James May proved that the stag was more reliable than
Well,
everybody says it is?
well, there you go. No comment, eh? The proof was in the pudding, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Eh? That's
That's
the only car that
incredible.
didn't break down.
It was the only car. Everybody was like, "Oh, that's going to break down." It was straight away. You were like, "That. Oh, that's going to
But
end up."
to be honest,
You know,
I was.
I thought the Capri would be most reliable, but the Capri was the worst.
Yeah, it was the worst. Yeah, I think it was worst. I mean, I think the way they were just built and the way he was, but the stag took a lot of beating as well. But
Yeah,
it won it at the end. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
They didn't let
yeah.
him down.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised because I thought the Lancia would be the least reliable, and
Yes.
then the Triumph Stag, and then the
Yeah.
Capri. And the Capri proved to be the most unreliable. I don't know what was going on there. But going back to Capri, so you said you only go for the Mark III. So out of the Mark III, which one, apart from the Tickford, which one would you recommend?
And I've had the Mark One. The Mark One.
Right,
I've never owned a Mark Two.
right,
Mark One.
right.
The Mark One 3 liter GXL, which another one that got away, which I regret. Should have kept it, but there you go. One of those things. As I say, you've been there, seen it, done it, but then sometimes you think, "Oh, should have kept hold of that one."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
which is the pick of the bunch if somebody wanted to get in a Capri now?
I mean, the 3 liter S are superb cars.
Really?
3 liter S, the 2.8 injections are good.
Yeah.
Like my one now is the 1985. So by not next year, but 2016, sorry, 2026, it'll be MOT tax exempt.
Yeah, be 40 years old.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, before you,
the 2.8 was the one. I mean, at one point I was saving up to get a 2.8 because I really wanted one, you know.
yeah,
And my heart was swayed by a Toyota Supra, a Celica Supra instead, you know,
lovely car, yeah.
because what happened was I literally was saving up to get it, and I had to think I had about 2 grand and a bit, and I reckon I needed about another grand or so. This was back in the early 90s, so
Yeah.
and I thought I needed probably another grand or so. And then this guy that I was working at a newspaper, and this guy that used to contribute, I walked him down to the car park one day, and he walks up to a Supra, and I didn't know him to be a car guy. I'm like, "You're not a car guy. Why are you driving this?" You know? And he
Yeah.
said, "No, I had to buy it off a friend because he was in financial trouble, so I just wanted to help him out." I said, "What are you going to do with it?" He said, I want to sell it." And I looked at it. It had pop-up headlights, had digital dashboard, had a straight six 3 liter, and I was
Yeah.
like, 2.8, sorry. And I was
Yeah.
like, I've got 2 grand in my pocket right now. He says, "It's yours," and that was it. So I never did the Capri thing because I did the Supra thing instead.
But the,
But
but
it
the,
was
Toyota Supras are lovely cars.
it was fantastic.
Yeah, they
There was
they're
one
lovely cars.
there was that white one at Hayes Cricket Ground meets.
That's right.
I was drooling over that one because it was amazing. You know,
Beautiful,
parked my
beautiful.
car next to it. And before we move on from Capris, as a Capri aficionado, which you clearly are, as a
Yeah.
serial Capri owner and a total fan, what do you think of the new Capri?
Please, you're gonna get me shot.
You say what you want to say, mate.
It
Go
is
for it.
it is absolute diabolical how they can suggest to give that name a Capri. It's embarrassing. It really is, and it's crap. I mean, sorry for all the electric owners and the electric car, but no, sorry, it's not for me. Respect you for what you think is right for you, but never.
Never,
Electric,
never,
no
never,
chance.
never.
Never,
Yeah.
never.
Do you think they've actually made a mistake by calling it a Capri?
I think they know that themselves. I
Yeah.
think that afterwards they thought, you know what we've done here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You just ruined a name there that's been going for so many years, and you come out with that. At least come out with something a bit decent and looking like a Capri. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like a Capri. I mean, like before, I don't know whether you realise when they're trying to make a new Capri was the Ford Probe.
Yeah.
Remember? That was the next Capri, and that didn't work. So if they didn't learn from that, and they come out with this, it
I'm
baffles
I'm
me.
I'm absolutely astonished, honestly, because a few years ago, as you remember, they came out with the Mustang Mach-E, and the
That's right.
Mach-E, of course, is the electric car.
Yeah.
But the difference there, I believe that was moderately successful, and I'll explain why. A, because they said, well, if we call it a Mustang, it'll be a talking point. If we just
Yeah.
launch an EV, nobody will care. But the way that we get away with it is because a real Mustang, let's call it a real Mustang, still
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
So you can still buy a V8 Mustang. It's still
Yeah.
the world's best-selling sports car. And what a lot of people maybe don't understand is that the Capri was always our version of the Mustang. For us
That's right.
Brits, the
That's right.
Capri was our Mustang.
That's right.
And for Ford to do that with the Mustang, they said, okay, well, it's like a Mustang family. It's like, well, you've got your V8. That's your fun car, and then you've got the Mach-E, which is your sensible family EV. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But what happened here is they just gave us the Capri, which is just an EV, but there is no actual Capri.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. That's where they went wrong. I mean, it was just, it's not, you can't relate to it.
Yeah,
Do you know, if you can relate to something, then you understand. Yeah, okay, I can relate to
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
hold on a minute, it baffles your brains.
yeah. So
And
by
then,
naming it Capri and hoping to appeal to the nostalgia and the sentiment of Capri owners, it's completely backfired. And that's
100%. I don't think there's so many, to be honest.
yeah, yeah,
You know, the last time I heard, if I can remember, yeah, I think the sales are quite bad.
yeah.
Well, that's telling you something, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean Ford is an interesting manufacturer because they're really scrambling around at the moment. I mean the latest, you see, just a few months ago, I remember recording a video where Ford was saying, "Oh, we're going to go back to small cars," and I was like, "Okay, they're going back to small cars. Okay, that makes sense because that's where they made their bread and butter." But now the most recent statement from Jim Farley is that no, we're going to just make fast cars and we're just going to make performance cars and luxury cars. So we're just going to give up on the small cars and the Ford Focuses and the Fiestas and the Mondeos. And to be honest, I think it's endemic of the motor industry that the motor industry just can't make up its mind at the moment. It just doesn't
No,
know what's going on.
no. Well,
So they keep scrambling around.
it's like the rest of the world. They know what's going on, don't they?
Yeah,
It's all upside down at the moment, isn't it?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's a bad situation for every trade. I think is feeling the pinch. You know, it's like they say, ride the wave, but how many waves are you going to ride?
Yeah.
You know, is that wave going to be calm at all? Just seems like getting worse and worse.
Hey, are you enjoying this video? Then make sure you hit the like button. It's very important. Plus, comment, share, and make sure you're subscribing. So tell me this, as a car guy, clearly as a car guy, and you've clearly always been a car guy, and obviously you're very excited and passionate about classic cars. Are there any modern cars or new cars that excite you?
Oh,
I
not
kind of guess I knew the answer to that
not
before I
not
asked it.
not at all. Not at all. To be honest with you, that's a straight, honest answer. No, it doesn't. But if I see a classic, it'll be my hair stand.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's the difference. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I get goosebumps when I see
yeah,
that's the difference. But any like new car or supercar, it don't do nothing to me.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it'd be nice, don't get me wrong.
Even the new supercars.
I mean, yeah, they look nice. Don't get me wrong, but nah, it doesn't
Yeah,
give me that feeling what a classic car will give me feeling.
yeah,
Not at all. You know, and I don't know. And it's been like that for a while. Before
yeah,
it
yeah,
was all about classic, then the supercars, then you start going the next
yeah.
generation. But then, as you say, you go back to your youth.
Yeah.
You can't be old school.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you and I are of a certain generation, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you think it's a generational thing? Do you think the younger people are interested in new cars, or does the passion just not
I
exist at the
think
same level?
I think yes. I mean, I was speaking to one of our sponsors, the other week, and he was talking about the next generation. It's like all these cars now. They won't know what Escorts Capris are. Don't know what the Ford Cosmos are because it's the next generation. It's the '90s, so they can relate to that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But the old Escorts and the old Ford Capris and
Yeah.
Austins, and that, they'll never hear of that. So
Yeah.
it's like luckily my son now he's 37, but he's always been into cars like his dad. So and he thrives with a passion, and yeah, he loves classics. I mean he's the same as me. New cars will do nothing to him. But yeah,
Wow.
you see, it's like songs, for example. It's
Yeah.
like the era that we were born in, the songs
Yeah.
that we liked.
Yeah.
If I play that in my car now, and I get a kid like saying, "Hey, my son, what do you think? I never heard that song, Uncle.
Yeah.
What song's
Yeah.
that?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they haven't heard it. It's
Yeah.
like cars, but they haven't seen. You know, it's only when they come to our shows. Wow.
Do you find this hilarious? It's like, because I'm in my car. I literally, it's an '80s car.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in the '80s. I play '80s music in the
Hundred
'80s car.
percent. Hundred
But well,
percent.
but if I play an '80s song and my kids hear it, they think, "Oh, Dad," you know what I mean? But if they hear it somewhere else,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Then if
Yeah.
they hear it in a movie or in a
Yeah.
Marvel movie, suddenly it's cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Hang on,
Didn't I hear that? Didn't I hear that in my dad's car?
seriously. I mean, running up the hill. Come on, we've been playing that for decades. You know. It's like-
Absolutely.
but
It's just the next generation, Shazad, and it's all changing. And as I said, it's like for us, it's like I think as I said, it's once the parents go, now we're the head of the families. So
Yeah.
we're the next generation that we,
But seriously, Kirpal, isn't that hard to get your head around that? I mean, do you know what I mean? Do you know when you start when you realize when you're looking around for the adult in the room and you realize,
Yes.
shit, I'm the adult in the room.
Yes,
You know,
yes. God forbid, once you lose your parents, God forbid, it's only then
yeah,
you start realizing, hold on a minute, you always look up to your parents. And
yeah,
I've always had any advice. And now I've lost my mum in 2004, lost my dad in 91, so it's been a while.
yeah,
But it's not a day that goes past without them
yeah,
not being in my thoughts all the time. But sometimes you look for support or answers, and they're not there. They're not there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So you think
yeah,
to yourself, hold on a minute, who can you ask? You can only
yeah,
ask your so-called close friends who are the same
yeah.
age as you, who can relate to you. Do you know what I mean? So you're restricted. You ask someone younger, they won't know what you're talking about or what you're
No.
going through.
No,
That's the
no, it's
difference.
it's difficult. But so, I mean, having said all of that, I mean, what do you think of the future of basically the scene that you've kind of created, that you and your son have kind of created? I mean, I know that your son is still there, kind of like the next generation. But what do you see the future of West London classics and the classic scene in general?
I think it will go on. I can't see it affecting us in a way because we only do a show annually, and I think for everyone to come out for one day, I think it's a day that's worthwhile coming out because it'll transform your day. It'll make your day worthwhile coming out the house and
Yeah,
enjoy it. Especially the world that we're living at the moment. It's all depression
yeah.
and what's happening around the world. And somebody just need to go out and just release that stress. And I think our events does that all. You know?
I mean, I think your event, like I said before, I think it just sort of epitomizes London, but it
Yeah.
also epitomizes car culture. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like a fusion of the two. I mean, we obviously both know that we have a mayor at the moment in London who appears to be a car hater. You know,
Yes.
but is there like, he's a brown guy. He's one of us, right? Is
Yeah.
there some way you reckon we can try to reach out to him and get him on board and try to make him understand, what
Bro,
cars mean to the community?
bro, he's the you can't
The dog doesn't think so.
you you
We
you, you,
just we just mentioned his name and the dog is
if
barking.
the dog has gone mad. Look, he knows what we're talking about. That's what he thinks of him. But yeah, going back to that, in all fairness, but nah, he's just a guy who's just messed the whole. He's messed the whole London. I mean, look at London now. The streets, yeah, cycling lanes. It's everything's 20 miles an hour, and they say why is London gridlocked? Why do you think it's gridlocked? Safety motorway said you got no hard shoulders, Shazad. That's more dangerous. Come on, how can you be? Are they stupid? I mean, if a car breaks down without a hard lane, a hard shoulder, it's so dangerous. I mean, I broke it down on the motorway without a blowout on the M40 and had a hard shoulder, and I was scared then, and I was on a hard
Yeah.
shoulder. So imagine not having a hard shoulder.
Yeah.
It's just you can't justify that. How could they approve something like that? It just baffles me. It really does. And now they say about
But
the pay per mile. You know what? People need to stand up like we did back in the days. They're getting away with absolutely murder. They really are.
and I think
And they're just getting worse and worse.
And this is the thing, getting worse and worse, because this is what people don't realize. Because obviously through stats and data, they always show that things are getting better. But the thing is that you and I are Londoners. I mean, I remember I had mates back in, this would have been in the late '80s actually. This would have been in
Yeah.
the late '80s, early '90s, and I used to have a Lancia Prisma symbol,
Oh,
and
right.
a friend of mine had a Mercedes 190. Another friend of mine had a Ford Granada Scorpio,
Yeah.
and we used to go to college in London itself, like in central London.
Yeah.
And we all three of us used to drive in.
Yeah.
We used to
Yeah.
drive in. We
Yeah.
could park the cars, and then we would bomb around London. We would just go eat here, go watch a movie there, whatever. We would cruise around all
Yeah.
day because there was traffic, it
Yeah.
was busy, it was
Yeah.
congested, but it
Yeah.
was still doable. It was
Yes.
still possible
Yes.
to do
Yes.
that. Whereas
Yes.
now, when supposedly things have been better and congestion charging is in place, and all of these traffic calming is in place, and all of this stuff is in place, but actually
It's worse.
I'm scared of driving to London.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I never drive into central London.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it. I stay on this side of the North Circular.
I've worked in London for the last 20 years driving before I started work for AT&T, and I'll tell you something. It's I can't stand it. It's just a nightmare. Like my wife goes, "Come, let's go to London." Let's go. I just hate it. I say, "Okay, let's just go, if you want to go, jump on the train." I ain't driving.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
just a nightmare. And like I said, things all changed since the last 10 years. It's just got it's a place where I don't want to be no more.
It's crazy, and this is the trouble. Is like it hasn't, and goes back to what you were saying, that all of this stuff that they've done hasn't improved things.
No,
It hasn't improved things.
they made things worse. Shazad. If anything, if you look at it, pros and cons, they made it worse. If they done anything good, of course you'll say, well done. That's what we needed.
Yeah,
Everything they're doing is something that we don't need. We could do without. You know, it's a
yeah.
shame that it's come to that. Really, I mean, like you said, when you drive your cars, it's all memories now. You
Yeah.
know, you can't do that now.
No.
You know, it's these things
No,
that.
I mean, I remember. So I used to work over here in West London in a newspaper in Scrubs Lane in
Oh,
West
yeah.
London.
Yeah.
And I used to have to go. So I had the Super at the time.
Yeah.
So I was so in the middle of the night, we'd finish the newspaper at late night, and then I'd go into central London, just off Oxford Street, where we'd get bromides done, and then I'd head over to Bow over in East London to the
Yeah.
printers. And I used to do that run once a week, back and forth, once a week, every time, and it was possible.
Yeah.
Now, I think you'd go mad within two
Yeah.
runs. You'd be
Yeah.
like, "No, I can't do this. It's
100%,
impossible.
100%.
It's crazy." So you think, well, how have things improved? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Nothing's improved. They're killing it for the car drivers. They really are. That's what they want to get rid of. And to be honest, I mean, it's just listen. We're at a certain age now, Shazad. I feel sorry for our generation down the line. My kids, my grandkids. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, we won't see the electric when it all comes out officially when it's not petrol. Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed that we won't see that. I mean,
Yeah.
like now, yeah, it affects everyone, but I've got my car there. If it means it, I'll take it out whatever I can. Because if I got paid £12, it puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. They're being upset.
If that's the cost of therapy, then so be it.
Exactly, 100%. You know what I mean? It's cost me £12 to set the car out. I'll take it out. It makes me happy. Then we spend £12 on going to a pub or something, or buying a pack of cigarettes, for example, or
Yeah.
something else, for example. Yeah, £12 has made me happy. It's something's cheered me up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it. I mean, that's what I said to other people when they say, "Oh yeah, your show is in the ULEZ zone, blah blah blah." I said, guys, listen, it's once a year. It's entirely up to you. I'm not telling you how to do it or not to do it,
Yeah.
but it's once a year. If you can't afford something like that, then something's going wrong in your life.
Yeah.
If that or things are quite bad, which is understandable. If you can't be done, can't be done. But come on, there's people who've got money who can come. That's the feel for element, mate.
Yeah.
you telling me you talk about ULEZ when it should have really affect you regardless.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I'm trying to say? And the people who are struggling, they'll make it there. They'll be there. They'll
No, this
won't
is
find a
it. No,
way.
this is it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I got. I mean, the problem I had is I think I got too greedy with having that joy of driving the classic every day. Because
Yeah.
when I got my E30, about 2.5 years I've had it now, and the idea was to actually drive it daily. Because the idea was to prove that you could take a modern classic, which you can,
Absolutely.
because there's nothing wrong with the
Just
car. It's
actually
absolutely fine.
maybe one
That's
second,
all right.
yeah? Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, you've driven yours quite a few times in the ULEZ.
No, I mean, so before the ULEZ expansion, I was pretty much driving it as a daily car, pretty
Yeah.
much, you know.
Yeah.
And it's only since the ULEZ expansion, of course, like £12.50. A lot of people say, oh, it's not a lot of amount, but the thing is, if you think about it, if you multiply that
Of
by
course. It adds
five
up.
times a week, and
Yeah, it adds up.
then 4 times that, then
Yeah.
suddenly the bill that you're getting, because mine is on auto pay, you're like, oh my
Yes.
god, you know. And then
Yeah.
suddenly you go, okay, I better reduce the amount of times I'm taking it out.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because for me, it's like the moment I take it out onto the main road here where I live in Kingsbury,
Yeah.
I'm going to get hit because there's cameras on both ends of the main
Yeah.
road here. So,
Yeah.
it's absolutely bonkers. But, and this is why I've come. So, as you know, I've had to put the car out for sale because
Yeah.
there's a big job coming on the car, which is not that difficult a job, and it's not a deal breaker. But
Yeah.
it's just that for me to justify that on
Yeah.
a car that I'm not actually using,
Yeah.
that it doesn't kind of make sense. You know?
Yeah. I totally agree. Totally
Yeah,
agree.
but the thing is again, but it's the thing that non-car people won't understand is that
Yeah.
even the thought of doing that is heartbreaking.
course it
Honestly,
is. Of
it
course it
is
is.
heart wrenching, because it's like
It's
when you
it's your pride and joy, isn't it?
yeah, and also when you think you found a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's a good one, when
Yeah.
you think, oh, this is a good one. There's no
Yeah.
issues with it. It's good.
Yeah.
Every time I drive it, it
Yeah.
feels fantastic. And you go,
Yeah.
but logic says
Yeah.
it needs to go to another home, and
Yeah.
it's kind of that's the reality. That's the difficulty of it. But also, there's the other funny thing about us car people is that we want it to go to a home.
Yeah.
It's almost like parting with a pet.
Yeah,
It's like you
yeah.
want it to go to
Yeah,
somewhere that
yeah.
people will look after it.
Yeah,
And,
you
I-
know-
and
you
you,
know-
mu- and
that
you
you
must
know
have had
to
that
take
over
care
and
of.
over again. Yeah, and you must have had that over and over again with the
Uh-huh.
Capris. Every time you parted with a Capri.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know the feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
I know
yeah.
the feeling.
So do you always like try to make sure that you find the right home for the Capris that you part with?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, mine have always gone to a good homes. There's always it's always an enthusiast who'll be looking for that car. It's not just someone who, or bought it to abuse it. And it's mainly mature people. So, I'd say in their 50s. So, and they're taking care of the car. Like I said, the guy who I bought my car back off 6 years later, I bought it back. So, it was in where was it? Up north somewhere, in I think near Newcastle or somewhere it was. And when I said to the guy, I said, I don't need to come and see it. I know the car well. So I don't, and he goes, well, things are meant to happen. It's meant to happen. I
Yeah.
said, look at that, it's my old car, and can you believe it? It's coming back to me. So things are things happen for the right reason, should I say?
Yeah, deal done. Absolutely, yeah.
You know?
So anyway, so you've got NEC coming up, so that's
Yeah.
a big one. So that's quite exciting. And then next year, what shows are lining up for next year?
I think after NEC, I think we might do a quick breakfast meet at Cardio Scurry,
All right.
which would probably be the second week of first or second week of December, a pre-Christmas one. We do one. We're doing one every year for the last 3 years, and to be honest with you, it's always been a great turnout. And it just gets everyone together for the last Christmas, last one for the year. So everyone comes back together and meet up, and it's just nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we say, okay, guys, happy Christmas, New Year. Catch you guys next year. So then we have a little break. Then obviously after Christmas, we probably do one in I think probably March or April, a season opener. Then we got our main one showing sign in July the 20th, Sunday, July the 20th.
That's already cast in stone, isn't it?
That's
That's
what
back,
it
at,
is.
back
What-
at Stoke Poges, yeah.
Yeah, it's back in Stoke. That's what confirmed and booked now. Then we'll try squeezing a few more here and there. If we can. As I said, it's hard work, Shazad.
Yeah.
And you got to think to yourself sometimes how many can people come to? So you got to say, look, our main once a year, that's the main focus.
Yeah.
That we get everyone, all the families together. And it's a day you appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there's loads happening between, and like how many can you go to? You go to as many as you can, but then you got family commitments. Like my wife will say to me, "Oh, come on, let's have a week off. it's always about you and your cars and this, that, your shows, which I totally understand. You got to give time to your family. Otherwise, things start getting a bit sour and arguments start happening. And no, it's about give and take.
Yeah. No, absolutely, totally agree with you. And I think because fatigue does set in after a while.
Oh
People are like,
yeah,
oh, there's too much going on. So that sort of thing. But anyway, however, having said that, amazing what you've done with West London
thank you.
Classics. Because I've been watching it in the last few years, and it's just like what you've done, gone from strength to strength. I'm just absolutely in awe of what you've done, and I love it. And then long may it continue. And I can't wait to be coming to your events again soon. And thank you so much for taking the time today
Shazad,
to
thank you
chat
for
with me.
all your support. You've always been there for us, and it goes a long way. And you know what? Enough respect there, yeah. Love and peace all the way, bro, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you
Hi
have a
guys, I've been writing. This is my first book, a novel, an all-out action thriller, and this one is a collection of 13 stories I've written over the course of 2 decades. The Ulysses Files and The Quantum Races by BC Guy are out now on Amazon.com. Shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links. Or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.